All right, so you want to book a wedding venue, or at the very least, you want to understand what actually happens when you sign that contract and hand over your deposit. Company operating the venue usually doesn't own it. And more importantly, how does owning a $2 million building actually make you money? Because in the wedding industry, ownership is a completely different business than operation, and it's far riskier than it looks. When people hear wedding venue, they imagine a beautiful ballroom or garden. But a modern premium wedding venue is essentially a floating, self sustaining financial asset. Take a large venue ordered from a major real estate developer or purchased by an investment group, but the prices are not random. It all depends on the price of commercial real estate at that time, the type of amenities you want in the venue, and the capacity of the space you want to operate. And then there's global wedding demand, the ultimate wild card. Wedding venue prices don't behave like fixed costs. They behave like volatile stocks. When wedding season booms, then prices surge. During downturns, they collapse dramatically. For example, during the economic crisis of 2008, some venue values dropped more than 40% in a single year. Venues that cost $2 million to build were suddenly worth $1.2 million before they even hosted their first event, simply because demand dropped. In the wedding industry, there are three main players: the venue owners, the event operators, and the couples. And almost always, the couples are completely unaware of this separation. For example, a global event management company like Weddings by Color or The Knot operates thousands of venues. You see their logos on the website, but they do not own all of those venues. In fact, many operators prefer to own as few as possible. Many are simply managed. So who holds the deed to that $2 million piece of real estate? It might be a wealthy family that inherited the property and now rents it out for events. Or even a corporate hospitality company operating out of a sleek office in New York or Los Angeles. These owners don't care about your wedding. They don't care about the emotional significance of your special day. They just rent their spaces. So owning a wedding venue is basically a massive high stakes leasing business. To make your money back, you have to lease it out. There are three main pricing models, each with a vastly different risk profile. Number one is the fixed package pricing. It is a safe bet. This couple pays a fixed price for the venue rental, typically ranging from $3,000 to $15,000 depending on the season and day of the week. The owner provides the space, maintenance, insurance, and basic amenities. The couple handles the decorations, catering arrangements, and guest logistics. If you sign a contract in January for a June wedding, you lock in that price. The owner has guaranteed revenue. But if the market surges right after you sign, the owner is stuck at the old rate while other couples are paying double. Number two is the flexible pricing model. The venue charges a base rental fee plus a per-person catering cost. This is lower upfront income for the couple, but it creates massive hidden costs. A venue might advertise $5,000 rental, but then charge $150 per person for catering, $500 for linens, $300 for lighting, $400 for valet parking. Suddenly, your $5,000 venue is now $25,000. For the owner, this is higher income and almost complete control over the final price. Hand over the keys and watch the costs multiply. Then comes number three. That is the surge pricing model. Venues charge exponentially more for peak season dates. A Saturday in June might cost $20,000 while a Tuesday in February costs $3,000. Rates, rate, rates, uh, rate, 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 like rate, race, rate, the rate, rate, raise, no, what is all when and the and
rate. In percent, rate. And with the race.
Owners became millionaires in a matter of years. But the hangover is brutal. In 2023, as wedding trends shifted towards smaller, more intimate celebrations, Many of those venues saw bookings drop by over 50%. How do these venue owners afford the properties in the first place? Because almost no one pays cash. The typical financial structure is 30% equity and 70% bank financing. Commercial real estate banks provide colossal loans secured by the venue itself. To protect themselves, owners use a legal shield called a special purpose entity. If a real estate magnate owns 50 venues, they do not own them under one massive corporate umbrella. Instead, they create 50 separate shell companies, often registered in Delaware, Nevada, or other tax-friendly jurisdictions. One company, one venue. Why? Because if a venue faces a massive lawsuit or goes hopelessly bankrupt, the rest of the portfolio is safe. But there's a massive problem lurking here. Let's say you borrow $1.4 million to buy a $2 million venue. A year later, the real estate market crashes and the resale value drops to 1.2 million. You're now underwater on your loan. The collateral is worth less than the debt. The bank panics and demands cash. Let's assume you manage the debt perfectly. You still face another enemy: regulations. A venue physically lasts 50 years, but building codes, safety regulations, and accessibility requirements are constantly changing. Push for sustainability means sudden mandates for new HVAC systems, energy-efficient lighting, water conservation upgrades, and ADA compliance renovations, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars per venue. Furthermore, what happens if you build a venue today designed for large indoor events to find out in 10 years that the global standard is outdoor, socially distanced celebrations? Your venue becomes a stranded asset. It's too expensive to operate, impossible to adapt, and worthless to sell. Its $2 million value drops to $500,000. A venue bought for $2 million might be worth $2.8 million in a boom because buyers want a property today, or drop to $1.2 million in a crash. Some owners don't even intend to operate the venue for its full lifespan. They speculate, buy low, charge high, sell high. And when a and when a and with and with and And when a venue finally reaches the end of its operational life or becomes unprofitable, it still holds value. It is sold to a developer who tears it down and builds condominiums or office space. The owner is paid for. The owner's piece. The owner is. So why does this chaotic system work? For an event operator like the Knot or Weddings by Color, owning every venue in their portfolio is incredibly capital intensive and debt loaded. If wedding demand slows down, an operator with 100 owned venues still has to pay 100 mortgages, even if they're sitting empty. Managing venues provides flexibility. If demand drops, the operator simply reduces their bookings and hands venues back to the owners. Operator stays lean. The owner takes the financial hit. This separation of ownership and operations spreads risk across the financial system. When an operator goes bankrupt, the venues don't disappear. The owners simply take them back and recharter them to a competitor. Companies may die, but the venue keeps hosting events. Now let's talk about the bundling trap. This is where the real exploitation happens. Venues force couples into package deals. You can't just rent the space. You must use their catering, their linens, their lighting, their sound system. This is deliberate financial engineering. By bundling services, venues increase profit margins by 40 to 60% and prevent price comparison shopping. A couple can't call a competitor and say, "Your venue is $5,000 cheaper," because the competitor's package includes different services. Bundling creates artificial differentiation and locks couples into paying whatever the venue demands. Then there's the deposit and cancellation racket. Non-refundable deposits, typically 25 to 50% of the total cost, are collected months or even years in advance. Venues use these deposits as interest-free loans, and cancellation clauses are deliberately punitive. If you cancel 6 months before your wedding, you might lose 50% of your deposit. If you cancel 3 months before, you lose 100%. During COVID, venues kept deposits while refusing refunds, revealing the true nature of the business. These weren't service providers, they were financial entities extracting wealth from vulnerable couples. Venues also deliberately manipulate capacity to control pricing. A space that can physically hold 200 people might be marketed as 150 to create artificial scarcity and justify higher per-person costs. Or conversely, a space might be oversold, marketed as holding 300 people when it actually holds 250, forcing couples to pay for a space that feels cramped. This mirrors the shipping industry's manipulation of vessel capacity. Its goal is to maximize revenue per square foot, not to provide value to the customer. Just like shipping markets, wedding venue markets have boom and bust cycles. Peak season venues are booked 18 months in advance at premium prices. Off-season venues sit empty for months. This creates desperation pricing. A venue that charges $15,000 for a Saturday in June might charge $2,000 for a Tuesday in February. Savvy couples can exploit this volatility by choosing off-season dates and negotiating aggressively. But most couples don't know this. They book during peak season and pay 5 to 10 times more than they should. New regulations around capacity, safety, environmental compliance, and labor laws force venues to invest in upgrades. These costs are passed directly to couples through higher prices. Regulatory uncertainty creates stranded assets. A venue designed for large indoor events becomes less valuable when regulations mandate outdoor spaces. A venue with a single entrance becomes less valuable when new codes require multiple exits. Owners don't absorb these costs, couples do. A venue owner might buy a property in a gentrifying neighborhood, operate it for 10 years while the area appreciates, then sell to a developer for 3 times the original purchase price. The couple paying for the wedding subsidizes this wealth extraction. Every dollar you pay goes toward the owner's eventual profit, not toward improving your experience. The entire system is engineered to extract maximum wealth from couples at their most vulnerable. You're planning one of the most important days of your life. You're emotional, excited, and willing to pay premium prices. The venue industry exploits this psychological state ruthlessly. They use scarcity tactics, bundling, hidden fees, and non-refundable deposits to lock you in and extract maximum value. The entire system is designed so that couples have no leverage and venues have all the information asymmetry. You don't know what other couples paid. You don't know the venue's actual operating costs. You don't know the owner's debt structure or profit margins. You're negotiating blind against a financial entity with perfect information. The separation of ownership and operation benefits the financial system, not the couple. Couples absorb the risk. If you book a venue and then lose your job, you still owe the deposit. If the venue burns down, you still owe the deposit. If the owner goes bankrupt, you still owe the deposit. Venues extract value from couples while insulating themselves from risk through legal structures and non-refundable policies. This is the rigged economics of wedding venues, not through control of the event, but through the relentless calculation of risk, leverage, and information asymmetry. The venue industry has built a system that extracts maximum wealth from couples while providing minimal actual value. And most couples never realize they've been played. If you found this analysis valuable, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with anyone planning a wedding. Understanding how these systems work is the first step toward protecting yourself from exploitation. Leave a comment below telling me what aspect of venue pricing surprised you the most. Your insights help us create better content. Thank you for watching.